Emily had been working at Carter's diner for just over a year, always greeting customers with a warmth that kept them coming back. Known for her radiant smile and kind demeanor, Emily was the kind of employee every boss valued. But behind her cheerful exterior, a storm was brewing. From the moment she was hired, Mr. Carter, her charming and seemingly supportive boss, had always shown her a bit more attention than he did the other staff. At first, Emily dismissed it as kindness, but as the weeks turned into months, she began to notice how his eyes lingered a little too long, and how his compliments seemed loaded with unspoken meaning. One evening, after the dinner rush, Mr. Carter called her over to the counter. His voice was low and gentle. "Emily, could you come here for a second?" She hesitated but walked over. When she approached, he leaned forward slightly, his expression sincere. "You've been doing an amazing job lately. I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you." His words were simple, but the way he said them made Emily's stomach twist. She thanked him with a polite smile and quickly returned to cleaning tables, brushing off the strange feeling lingering in her chest. But that wasn't the end of it. Over the next few weeks, Mr. Carter's behavior shifted. His compliments became more frequent, his touches, a hand on her shoulder or a brief brush of her fingers, lingered longer than they should. Emily started to feel trapped, unsure if she was imagining things or if something deeper was happening. She tried to stay professional, focusing on her work, but his attention was inescapable. Then came the night that changed everything. The diner was quiet, nearly empty, and Emily was finishing her shift. Mr. Carter approached her with 2 glasses of whiskey. "Just a quick toast," he said with a grin. "To the hardest worker here." Emily hesitated, unsure if this was appropriate, but she didn't want to seem rude. She reluctantly agreed, sitting with him in one of the booths. As they drank, Mr. Carter charmed her, and Emily found herself revealing more than she intended. That conversation marked a turning point. The next day, a message from Mr. Carter appeared on Emily's phone: "Meet me after your shift." Carter. Her heart raced as she read it. She knew it was wrong. He had a wife and 2 children. But his attention made her feel seen, special, in a way she hadn't felt in years. Against her better judgment, she replied, "Okay." Their meetings became more frequent, always after hours when no one else was around. They talked about everything and nothing, sharing laughter and stolen glances. But the line between harmless conversation and something more had already been crossed. One night, Emily finally voiced her doubts. This isn't right," she said, her voice trembling. Mr. Carter's expression softened. "Emily, I can't stop thinking about you," he said. "My marriage, it's been over for years. You're the only thing that makes sense anymore." His words were intoxicating, yet they filled Emily with guilt. "But what about your kids?" "Your wife?" she asked. Mr. Carter took her hand, his grip firm but gentle. "I'll figure it out," he promised. "Just give me time." And for a while, Emily believed him. She wanted to believe him. Weeks passed, and the guilt weighed heavily on Emily. She couldn't face his wife when she occasionally stopped by the diner. Every time she tried to end things, Mr. Carter would pull her back with promises of a future together, promises that felt increasingly hollow. One evening, after another clandestine meeting, Emily stood alone in the diner, staring at her reflection in the window. Tears welled up in her eyes as she realized she couldn't keep living like this. Torn between guilt and longing, she knew it was time to reclaim her integrity. With a deep breath, she wiped her tears and turned off the diner's lights, ready to take the first step toward finding herself again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below.